Star Wars 7x7 episode 2008. Today, another one of our 2020 previews with a brief look back at 2019. This time we're talking about Star Wars live-action series. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, which is a new episode in the scheme of things because in previous years I've done looks back at what happened in various Star Wars media and also previews of what's to come, but it's always been movies or animation or books or comics or other media, but never a live action one. So this is a brand new situation, which is really exciting, especially considering that The Mandalorian was, by all accounts, a runaway success, the most popular show on Disney Plus, and helped the streaming service get off to a roaring great start. There is, I guess, some concern being reported about whether people would just cut the Disney Plus service and wait until Mandalorian Season 2 comes out, and that may be one of the reasons why there is talk of WandaVision, the Marvel series, which was supposed to be in 2021, being moved up and will be released in 2020. Another reason why people might want to keep their Disney Plus subscription if they're also fans of Marvel. That's also in addition to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. That's coming in 2020 as well on the Marvel side. But we're not here just to talk Marvel, we're here to talk Star Wars because there are 3 different Star Wars live-action series in development that we know about, and I've got information for what's happening in 2020 for all of them for you here. First of all, Jon Favreau announced the least surprising news of the year. It came last week and it was accompanied by a picture of a statue of a Gamorrean, and possibly a thinner Gamorrean than we're used to seeing, but he announced that The Mandalorian Season 2 would be coming in fall of 2020. There have been so many reports about people saying, oh yeah, gearing up for Mandalorian Season 2, but there's no official announcement, at least, until now with Favreau's thing, which is about as close to an official announcement as you're going to get, right? And Lucasfilm hasn't said it in any PR, but there you go. So, Season 2 underway. And as far as we know, Gina Carano is returning, of course Pedro Pascal is returning, of course Baby Yoda is returning. I don't know if I've seen for sure that Carl Weathers is returning, but I can't imagine why he wouldn't necessarily. But there you go, Mandalorian Season 2 underway and coming next year. As for the 2 other series that are in development, one of them, unfortunately, it seemed like at the beginning of 2019 that there was a possibility we were going to see the series in 2020. Turns out that that's not the case, unfortunately. That would be the Cassian Andor series. What we know about it right now is that Diego Luna and Alan Tudyk are going to be back reprising their roles as Cassian Andor and K2SO for the series. There's also been reports that there is some casting going on, or some parts written for a 13-year-old Cassian Andor and his 9-year-old sister. What we know about Cassian Andor's background is that, as he said in Rogue One, that he's been in this fight since he was 6 years old. So he was 6 years old just before the fall of the Galactic Republic and the rise of the Empire, and he was actually on the side of the Trade Federation, the Separatists, because he was, throwing rocks basically at Republic tanks and soldiers, and turned out that Republic tanks and soldiers transformed into Empire tanks and soldiers, and so, the battle continued on, basically. So if it is true that there's going to be a 13-year-old Cassian Andor involved in this series, then we're going to advance, I guess it would be 7 years into that Dark Times period, right? 7 years after the fall of the Republic. But it seems unlikely that they would also bring back Diego Luna and Alan Tudyk unless they were going to be a significant part of the series. So this business about anything focusing on young Cassian Andor, I can't imagine that that's going to be a significant focus of the series, but we might learn more about his backstory as a result of that casting. As for the timing, they went into production in October of 2019, but the reports that we're hearing now are that filming will not start until June of 2020, and so that means that we're not going to see the Cassian Andor series until 2021 at the earliest. Of course, we have that big rock in the calendar, Star Wars Celebration Anaheim, that's happening in August, and so one would hope that we might get to hear a little bit about the Cassian Andor series at Celebration Anaheim, but yeah, it might be early days by comparison. There is one other series that will also be getting underway, and in fact, it almost seems like it's on a similar timetable, interestingly enough, and so we'll talk about that right after the break. Stay tuned. Hey Rebel Rouser, I've made some changes to the asteroid belt level at patreon.com/SW7X7, and they are all with sponsors in mind. So if you want to get the word out about your business, your product, your service to a dedicated Star Wars audience, then please check out patreon.com/SW7X7 and look for the asteroid belt level for details. Again, that's patreon.com/SW7X7. Welcome back. So the other series is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That one is supposed to take place also in the Dark Times when Obi-Wan is alone in the desert on Tatooine, and we're going to find out how he was coping with that whole arrangement. That series, apparently, all the scripts are already written, at least that was according to the announcement at the D23 Expo in August of 2019. And so they are, ready to ramp up production. But filming is going to happen in 2020, and apparently it's not going to be released until 2021 either. So that's another one where hopefully we'll get some sort of preview or some additional information by the time we get to Celebration Anaheim. But yeah, they'll still be, I don't know, maybe they'll be able to share some pre-production sketches, maybe they'll be able to tell us the number of episodes, some of the directors and writers who are going to be involved, if, it's not just Deborah Chow and, oh gosh, now I'm going to have to pause us for a second here and get the gentleman's name who's writing scripts for the series. Hossein Amini, that's it. So there you go. And for the Cassian Andor series, it's Stephen Schiff, and also Tony Gilroy has gotten involved with that series too. So 2021 is when we're looking for those two series to drop, but a lot of production stuff happening in 2020, which means a lot of interesting information to be shared with us during the year. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit quiet until we get about maybe halfway through the year, and then we'll start hearing a little bit more, but that's what we got for now. So keep tuned to Jon Favreau's Instagram and Twitter accounts because he will share photos on there from time to time, and that will at least keep you hopping for the first half of 2020. That's going to do it for our look at the future of live action stuff in the Star Wars galaxy, and that's going to do it for this episode as well. Thank you so much for joining me for it as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.